So while I was out checking a few things the other day, mostly on this piece to get the connectors nice and tight so it'll actually start, I did notice that the battery voltage when charging was kind of high. Right now, and I'm really surprised, this is a 12.85 after it's been resting a day or so. Pretty good voltage, but the charge voltage is kind of high. Let me start it up and we'll see what it does. You can tell it's about 90 degrees here. As you can see, it gets into the 15 volt range. That's actually higher than what's in the book. So that's a little bit of a problem. We're overcharging the battery and eventually it's going to hurt it, kill it. I don't know how long it's been like that. I've only checked it because the Triumph Bonneville I have had a regulator that failed low. It wasn't charging it at all. It looked like it was at idle, but then as soon as you revved it, voltage went away. It just wouldn't charge. So this one is actually doing the opposite, it's overcharging. So I do have a spare engine. We'll see if I can swap the alternators out on it and see if we can't fix this issue. Okay, so this is the good book on all things G. This is the alternator. The offending item is this little bit here inside the alternator under that black cover. That's the regulator. Over here it states that the minimum is 13.5 at 5,000 RPM. That's why I revved it so much before. Then we switch over to another page, and then here where it says second check, blah 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 blah, 14.5 volts maximum. Replace it, the IC regulator, which is this piece. So this is their little test setup. And here's the page with the exploded diagram. Yeah, there's the offending item right there. I think there's 3 of these bolts to take off. Replacement torque's 18 foot-pounds. Looks like I guessed right with the 12mm. The other one's well hidden. That's going to be well hidden on the bike. The other one's up here. I wonder if I have to take this cover off. Well, this lower bolt comes out until it hits this side case, but I think with it in that position I can just pull it straight back and just lift it out. Okay, and there's the fender. Of course, the on-bike access to those 3 bolts I just took out, yeah, a little trickier. Still, I think I can get to them. Looks like this one I'll just push my clutch line out the way. Have to take the starter off, and then hopefully I can clear all my fuel level crap. Okay, here's a handy little tool I picked up. It bends a little bit, so I can get this 12mm in way down here. And yeah, now I can undo it. Yay! Yeah, I'm having a bit of difficulty getting it out because of the clutch line. It's really not wobbling around much, so I am going to have to take this cover off to give me a bit of room. Alright, I've got it half out, but I've obviously got to get the lead out as well. The lead comes back all the way to here, which is the charging one, and I hope I can unthread it without having to take the tank off. Otherwise that'll just be more stuff to take off, put back on. Okay, well I can't get the connector out it goes around this vertical frame post here, and it's getting jammed between the filter box and that post, so I am going to have to take the tank off. What fun. Alright, so with the tank off, all becomes clear, right? Yeah, well here's the connector, and it wouldn't go past this point, but if you lift it to here, then you can pull down and out. That was easy, wasn't it? But you got to take the tank off to get there. Right, so here's the two alternators. This is the one I've just taken off the live G, and looking at the part number, I see it's a CO3 on the end. And the one I took off the engine and shed is a CO2. So this is the one I was wanting to put on, but I see it's an older version. I hope it works. I'm going to clean up the ends. Put this. I know this is a new O-ring, so I'm going to put this one over here on there, and put this one back on that one for the time being. Alright, so before I button everything back up, I ran the lead up to its connection point, got the voltage on the battery. I want to run the engine and see if see what the voltage is going to be. Make sure it's not too high, because it's kind of pointless, you know, putting that in, going through all that trouble if it's not going to work. So let's fire it up and see what it does. Yeah, it would have helped if I'd have reconnected the start motor instead of having it just ground out on the frame. Okay, so we're running again. This is about 1000 RPM. Well, it's at the upper limit, the 14.5 volts, so that's better than the other one, so I'm going to keep using this one. Right, just to complete the story here, if you don't have a spare alternator, or if you pick one up from a junkyard or something, a couple of 8mm nuts, very low torque, there it is. There's the component that causes all the problems. That's the bit you've got to replace, which I think is this whole plastic piece here. Okay, I'm putting this back on my spare engine, so I'm going to button it back up, take it out, and just stick it on the spare engine.